This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals at your service. This is the only show in the entire metro area that focuses on business expansion, real estate construction, economic development, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant and more prosperous. Thank you to Dingman's Collision Center, along with D&M Roofing and Siding, our title sponsors who make this show possible. And now, without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a man who is absolutely legendary in his real estate deal-making prowess and track record, Trenton Magid.
Thank you. I just ran the relay.
You ran the relay, and you don't even look like you're breaking a sweat. It's been a good week.
Very good week. Very busy in our office. We have a new office.
Yeah, that's right. 133rd in California, which translated to English is northwest corner of 132nd and Dodge. Real nice four-story building. People who drive by might be familiar with it because it says Merrill Lynch at the top. Pretty soon we're going to have our logo up there.
NAI, MP Dodge will go back up there. Before we were there, 10 years ago or so, our office was there up on the upper floors. Now we're on the first floor. So if you drive by there, you can see me working right on the hard corner of 132nd, northwest corner, 132nd and West Dodge Road. And if you go to Instagram, NAI MP Dodge, you can actually see my office.
That's right. So Trenton, you're in the southeast corner of that building, all that glass right there, so people can see you. It's almost like you're on display. But as we tell everyone, do not tap on the glass and do not feed the Trenton if you come by to see him and to look through the window. Well, folks, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. EagleMortgageCompany.com is where you can find them online. If you want to stop by the office, it's at 114th and Davenport. But they are legendary for their service and knowledge when it comes to home loans, FHA, VA, conventional loans, work with people on all of that. But they've been in the business for well north of 30 years now and have helped countless people get their piece of the American dream. So if you're thinking about buying a house, talk to them really early, super early in the process. And they can shop a variety of banks as a mortgage broker. They're not beholden to one, and therefore they can get the best deal and the best circumstances for you in your individual situation. EagleMortgageCompany.com. Well, Trenton, let's start out with politics. Now, we don't normally talk...
Yeah, we're a political show.
We don't normally talk politics on this show, but there were several bills or pieces of bills, if you will, that went through the Nebraska legislature this week, the last week or so of the session.
The last day of the session, wasn't it? 2 days ago?
It's done. Yeah. It's done. Those weary, tired legislators can go home and
overpaid.
Sleep. And overpaid.
For $12,000 a year for like the last 30 years.
It's basically a fairly highly paid volunteer job.
Yes.
That's the way I'd look at it, a high paying volunteer job.
Most of them earn their keep.
Yeah, they definitely put in the hours.
There are some agitators.
But that said, we're not going to talk politics per se and breaking the Grow Omaha unwritten rule, but we are going to talk about several things that kind of went through the end of this legislative session that we believe are going to be conducive to Omaha growth and development. So I'll just kind of fly through them. Yep. It's pretty fast, and we're not going to give you a lot of details because we don't want you to fall asleep on the radio with a bunch of policy talk. But here goes. Some bills to help Omaha growth and development that went through the legislature toward the end of this year's session. We're dropping the top two income tax brackets as well as the corporate tax rate, state tax rate, this is, to 3.99% starting in 2027, which should help us attract talent and businesses. Total exemption from state income taxes for Social Security income starting in 2024. That's important because, believe it or not, one of the demographics we have not been doing a good job of recruiting and retaining lately. Retirees. We've been losing too many retirees, and that's a part of the population you definitely want because, as they say, not only do retirees contribute to the community, pay taxes, they don't commit crimes. You
Yeah.
don't see a lot of retirees holding up come and goes. Tax credits for child care, which will help the workforce. Property tax relief credits. Then there was LB 727, which provides tax credits for very large development projects such as Nebraska Crossing in Gretna. It's called the Good Life Transformational Project. It's not limited to just Nebraska Crossing. Other big mega projects could take advantage of it. But like for Nebraska Crossing, in order to qualify for this Good Life Transformation Project benefits, in which they will get half of state sales tax collections turned back to them, they would have to invest at least $500 million, create 250 or more new jobs, attract new to Nebraska businesses, attract at least 600,000 visitors per year, 20% of whom must be from out of state. So that's pretty exciting. I think that'll allow us to see some big time development and some exciting stuff in Gretna.
And that's Gretna. If it's in Lincoln, I believe it's $750 million of new development. And if it's Omaha, it's $1 billion, given the size of the municipalities.
Okay, I didn't realize this. So there's a population adjustment there. Okay, and then also approved an extension of state turnback tax to enable an expansion of the CHI Health Center in Omaha, help with Steelhouse Omaha, which recently opened, and the new performance venue in La Vista. And then approximately $400 million will be invested into North and South Omaha projects. This has been in the works for a year or two, and it's kind of been getting a little more clarification, but we have over 300 projects, organizations that have applied for grants for projects. It will be finally determined as to which projects get what by the Nebraska Department of Economic Development. But among the highlights in this North and South Omaha package would be a $60 million business park near Eppley International Airport that can eventually expand to $90 million. And then $20 million to go help build the Malcolm X Museum, $20 million for community health centers, and $16 million to develop a standing bear visitor center. So some pretty cool stuff. And of course, this is not 100% for sure, but it looks like a big chunk of money will go to the Plaza de la Raza in South Omaha, which would be a real nice shot in the arm for what is a strong business center there on the South 24th Street District.
That's different than the Canopy project, right?
I believe so. I believe so. But they're both South Omaha.
Okay.
Some of those details sometimes there's so many moving pieces when you're talking policy.
They change, yeah.
And they can change a little bit. But what we do know is that this will be an historic investment in Northeast and Southeast Omaha. And when I remember looking at the original list of 300 some projects, there were some pretty cool projects. So I think it'll be transformational for our town.
Yeah.
All right, a couple other news items that we want to get to. Genesis Health Clubs, which has a location in Midtown Crossing, plans to move across the street. You remember the old Alamo Draft House Cinema. The gym that's there will go across the street to the Alamo Draft House Cinema. Allow the gym to go up to 67,000 square feet total, which would be pretty substantial. They're kicking around the idea of possibly even a rooftop pool, but I don't know if that's a for sure. They're going to have a bar in there, and it'll be considered like one of Genesis' more premium clubs. And apparently they have a couple around the country that are like called Diamond or something like that, and this will supposedly be on that par. So a nice
interesting to see what happens to the old Genesis or the current Genesis.
And what they put in there.
Yeah.
My guess is, they'll find something. It's a strong area, and with the streetcar coming, it'll get even busier. The former pet spa at 168th and Blondo, which more recently was used as a COVID-19 testing center, has been purchased by D.R. Horton, Trenton.
Largest home builder, and what they do is they build a lot of spec homes. They actually sell them completed as opposed to customized build-to-suit, I understand, by talking to someone there. And so they we have very strong home builders in Omaha, especially Celebrity Homes does an amazing job. And D.R. Horton has built thousands of homes every year around the country. And so they've been here a few years, and we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, and that building will be the offices for D.R. Horton's Omaha operations. Last week, we had our call-in show, and one of the callers asked about a former car dealership on 144th and Meadows. So that's 144th Street, south of Giles a ways and a little bit north of I-80. We did not know the answer to that during the show, so we did a little bit of...
That was a Ford dealership, right?
I think it was a Ford dealership, yeah. And so we did a little bit of background work on that. Hymus Corp here in Omaha has purchased it. They're not sure whether they're going to move their offices into it or resell it, but...
they have property to the west of that.
Yeah, and I think they're like in construction equipment and maintenance and maybe industrial equipment or something like that. Good company.
Contractors.
Yeah, good Omaha company. And so that's that. Nothing really big to report there, but we promised the caller last week that we would get back to
another building
you on
that people always ask about is the northeast corner of 84th and L Street, which the Omaha Food Bank bought that huge H&H Chevy building.
Yes.
And that property there. So it'll be very interesting to see. That's a big property for them, and it's a great social services opportunity.
Yeah, and I would imagine the food bank's pretty big operation, and they'll probably use the space well.
And I just found out the other day that hungry people actually need those services not just during Thanksgiving and Christmas.
That's a good point. Yeah, we eat every day. Miracle Hills Park, 137,000 square foot retail strip northwest of 114th and Dodge, undergoing a substantial renovation right now. It's a 35-year-old center, which is hard to believe, and getting a new facade and upgraded parking lot. No word as far as we are aware of any new tenants in that area, although the Med Center is doing something in the old grocery store.
Because they do their own, they break bulk and they do prescriptions and delivered to all their facilities and stuff like that.
A couple of major church construction projects in West Omaha. All Holy Spirit Greek Orthodox Church is coming along nicely on the construction of their new building west of 192nd. Between Dodge and Pacific, maybe slightly closer to Dodge. It's kind of close to that new MD West 1 office building out in that area. And that church building is expected to open in March. And then at 189th and Maple, St. Patrick's Church of Elkhorn will break ground for a $30 million new church building tomorrow. And it'll seat 1,400 people. Completion for that is 2025. Interestingly, St. Patrick's is going to keep their existing campus, I believe, for the school, and then the church itself will be a little ways to the east.
I don't think there's a correlation between the amount of new houses of worship and large alcohol warehouse like wine, beer, and spirits, and the wall-to-wall. You see all these liquor stores coming to Omaha, and I don't think there's any relationship to the houses of worship, just so everybody knows.
Okay, I don't think a lot of people thought there was, but I do appreciate you clarifying that just in case. And then that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Guess what, folks? It is one of those weeks where we're going to talk about restaurants and food and dining, one of the most popular topics on Grow Omaha, and a familiar voice is joining us. Stacy Winters, head of the Omaha Food Lovers Group on Facebook, is going to talk to us about top 10 restaurants on the survey, places that he's visited, some new places that have opened. This is going to be fun stuff. So it's time to get hungry. Right after this break, you're listening to Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Stacy said 96,000 people?
96.2, yeah.
96.2. What are we going to do when we crack 100?
That's what I was asking.
I don't know. It's always the best of intentions to do stuff, but then like you plan it and it's like nobody ever shows.
Yeah.
You know, that's the hard part of some of the stuff. You know?
Or you just get 2 or 3 or 4 people that are like, where's the free food?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just here for the free food.
iHeartRadio app or wherever.
Tired of walking into
Okay, so we got a plan.
You should try.
We start with Best of OFL.
Do you want to do top 10?
Let's do it. Why don't you say the top 10 and then we'll go through some of them.
Okay.
And then you go through some of them. Let's say let's talk a little in detail. Like maybe give the top 10 list, and then maybe let's talk in detail about a few of them.
Okay.
And then if we end up,
I think one thing we did. Have you guys been to Tixteco?
Yeah, I love that place.
Okay, I don't know how long it's been
That's
since you've been
lady on
there,
the
but
plane.
have you been there since they have alcohol?
If I have, I've never had
Their
alcohol.
mango margarita was like so good. Like
I've only been there for lunch.
It was so good.
And
Jeff always drinks during lunch.
as a responsible professional,
Yeah.
I don't go back to the office or to important meetings having had cocktails.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Mexican food.
Or Mexican food. Actually, I do Mexican food maybe too often.
Not without a dependent agreement.
We did on a Sunday. We went to Tixteco, La Sierra, and Mexicali. Boom, boom, boom. We went to all three of them
Do you have
as a group. It was fun.
were you popping some Rolaids at the end of the night?
I was okay.
You
My
been
2 or 3
friends-
hours?
Yeah, about three and a half
It was
hours.
a progressive Mexican.
Yeah, because we started Tixteco because they opened at 7 a.m. on Sundays.
Do they really?
They started doing breakfast.
Were you up at 7 a.m.?
No, we got there like 10 or
I was going to say.
like right around 10.
Yeah.
So we started with some chilaquiles and a few other things.
I love
Javi
Tixteco.
actually went with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it
The guy
was-
from Howie's Tacos?
yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he's great.
How many does he have now? Like 4?
Three. Well, he's got three restaurants and 2 like food trailers. But yeah, so we started there, then we went to La Sierra, which is cool. It's like such a limited menu. La Sierra focuses on the Durango region or state of Mexico, and they do like gorditas.
Gordita.
And they're not like they're more traditional than what
Then the Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Those Taco Bell commercials were so bad.
So it was fun though. But that mango margarita, and then if you like, I'm not usually a big horchata fan.
Yeah. Oh, really?
The horchata at Mexicali was very, very good.
We what was it? It was in January. Trenton and Amy, and Stephanie and I, and another couple, Chris and Jen, that do our video and Omaha stuff. The 6 of us went down to Trenton's timeshare in Mexico. And on the flight there, we sat next to the owner of Tixteco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's really cool.
I was telling him like you guys need to let me know when you guys go places like Cabo because I have good suggestions.
Yeah, she's really cool, and I say that food there is amazing. Have you been to Taco Chongo on
No.
24th Street?
Taco Chongo, no.
It's good too.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, give it a try.
At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best
Here
than
we go.
apologize for anything less.
Alrighty.
I get it. Schedules get goofed up. You can't always be radio side for the Daily Rosie Diginosi, but you can get it on the podcast
You got some of
page
that.
anytime.
Stacy has some.
KFAB.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid sitting in the big KFAB penthouse studio on Underwood Avenue in downtown Dundee. This show is brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Dingman's is the place you want to go when you need a little bit of cosmetic repair to your car, but they also handle mechanical services as well. But most people think of them for dents and scrapes and bumps and bruises. It doesn't matter whether someone recklessly opens the door next to you or if you have a really difficult, tough accident. They do all of that. And the team is outstanding, credentialed, experienced, and the customer service is second to none. 4 Omaha area locations. Trenton, and they are where?
The 4 Omaha locations. The one that has the mechanical, and Todd runs the mechanical side at 120th and West Maple Road. And that's next to a collision center. They've got the nice location I found for them that was the Cougar Lanes at 144th and Industrial Road. I found them one down in downtown Papillion on South 84th Street. That's a great one. And the original one is on Saddle Creek, about Center Street. And did I miss one?
That sounds about like 4. And when you get there, tell them Girl Omaha sent you. I don't know if that'll do anything for you other than let them realize that their advertising investment with us is paying off.
Yeah.
Let's bring on Stacy Winters, our good friend and the founder of Omaha Food Lovers. Good morning, Stacy. Welcome back.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Trenton. It's great to be here. I love this. Is my favorite day of the quarter. I get to talk food with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I say we love
You're
it
in
too.
high demand. You hanging out with You're rubbing elbows and tasting food with the likes of Guy Fieri.
Yeah, it's Fieri. You got to pronounce that right.
Fieri? Oh my gosh.
Yeti. Well, now that you guys are friends and all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You call him G-Fed?
No, I do not.
So is Guy invited you to one of his mansions or anything like that?
Not yet. That'd be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I was wondering why you're spiking your hair today.
So why was Guy in town?
He was opening up his restaurant over in Harrah's, and then he was filming some places here for Triple D, diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah,
Sorry.
for the non-Omaha food lovers,
LOL.
hardcores.
Yeah, so we should see more of that hopefully later this year. We'll see where the places he checked out. I'm sure you can find online a few of those places, but it's not supposed to be public knowledge, but it is.
Yeah, not public knowledge unless you kind of snoop around a little bit.
Yeah, you have to snoop around for it. Yeah.
But it'll be fun when those shows come out. It'll be fun to watch which places he
chat about
highlights.
them then.
Yeah. And we'll talk about them and everything else. Well, we got a new best of Omaha food lovers top 10 that came out.
Oh yeah.
We have not actually published it yet, so we've gone through and done all of our best of the OFL polls, which we typically do kind of March, April, May timeline. I think we'll have about almost 100 different polls. But for this show, I wanted to kind of unveil. We put together our top 10. We will be putting together a shared Google Doc with all of this information in it. But we did put together a top 10 for this, and I'm going to unveil it now.
Well, let's get it started.
Yeah. So the top 10, again, I love the fact that none of them are actually chained, which is pretty cool. We had a tie for 9th, Shucks and Sauced by Alfaro in Papillion. Spezia came in at number 8.
They're always consistent.
Brazenhead, 7. Canara.
Isn't that Brazenhead?
Brazenhead? I don't know. Canara came in at 6. Mama's Pizza. Manja, which is a huge favorite of the group. Brother Sebastian's, an old school favorite.
Was there last night.
Porky Butts
Delicious.
at 2. And the third year in a row, number 1, I'm sure you guys can guess, is
Block 16.
Block 16. Yeah, always the number 1 foodie destination in Omaha. I mean, if you go online, always the number one place.
So obviously their food is good and they try new things and their social media campaigns are great.
Awesome.
But in addition to being a great place, it's at the edge of the community for most of Omahans. But that doesn't stop people from making the trek. It's kind of like Coneflower or something like
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
Which needs a West Omaha location.
Yeah.
And shorter lines. But what else do you contribute to Block 16 that allows them to stay consistent and at the top of the charts?
I think they just keep pushing the boundary a bit. Their daily specials, they allow, and I think one of the coolest things they do is they allow their chefs to kind of suggest items. It's kind of they'll go with the crazy items. They're not afraid to push the boundaries. So I think that makes them pretty unique. And like you said, the social media game and the stuff that they post is really intriguing to people. So I think that probably leads to a lot of it.
It's a pretty eclectic list.
It is, really.
I mean,
so we put together that favorite, and everybody's like, well, you gotta say what it's about. Well, we're just like, people ask you all the time, what's your favorite restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So that's what this list is. It's like, if you have a top 10 of like places you're going to go, like, what are they?
Well, yeah, people say, what's your favorite restaurant?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what day is it?
Yeah, exactly.
What cuisine are we talking about? What kind of mood am I in?
But this list,
the weather?
It is a really, really good list of different types of places in Omaha. So.
Now, Brazenhead, or Brazenhead as you call it, that one, I have not been there in a long time. Good place. I've always had good experiences there. That one, actually, I almost forgot about it. I haven't been there in so long.
People love it for the fish and chips, but then they have a creamy onion soup. That is what everybody raves about. It's that creamy onion soup that gets everybody in there. I swear. Like, that's the biggest draw that I see from everybody.
I'm going to go get that.
Have you ever had the onion? Is it onion and leek soup at?
No, it's Normandy.
The Normandy onion soup at Brushy, which is unbelievable.
I have not.
So, okay. So some of the radio people couldn't hear this, but Amy in the studio was answering to it, kind of helping. If you're wondering what that pause was, because I couldn't hear Amy's voice. Okay, so a couple other things interesting. I'm not surprised Sauced made it because it's amazing and everyone raved. I'm surprised it was as far down as 9th.
Well, it is new. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to give it a bit of time, but and it's very small. So, I mean, and that's one of those places. Sauced is one of my probably suggestions I give out a lot because I love the fact that they share the patio with Twisted Vine too. So you can get the food at Sauced and go sit out on the patio at Twisted Vine and get your drinks from Twisted Vine. So it's a great evening out there. So and Shell is such a great. She's so friendly, so welcoming. It's a great place.
So before we go do our middle of the show news break, I do want to bring up one topic and it's a little bit of a personal question, Stacy. But you know,
ever get that not so fresh feeling?
As the guy who's in charge of Omaha Food Lovers, and you're basically the go-to guy, and people always want to know, well, what does Stacy eat? Where does Stacy go?
He eats everything.
What does Stacy go when no one's looking?
Yeah.
So in the Winters household, we recently had a high school graduation.
That is correct.
Congratulations to your son.
There.
Elkhorn North High School. So when Stacy Winters has a graduation party for his beloved son, what Omaha food vendors cater the party?
So we went with the food truck, which is a great option because there's no cleanup, but we did the Cheese Life, which was hugely popular. People raved about the food, and they were great to work with. So highly recommend, if you're looking for some sort of event like that. But you need to book them. We booked them probably 8 months in advance, 7 months in advance for this day.
There wasn't any question about him graduating.
Yeah. And so that's who we used for the main food. We did Dave's Cakes for cupcakes and a sheet cake. We did a variety of different types there, which were great. And they, even the leftovers were great like a week later. And then Sweet Magnolias, their cookies. You cannot beat their cookies. I mean, that was probably the one thing everybody raved about was the monster cookies and the malted Oreo cookies from Sweet Magnolias. Try those. You'll be amazed.
They're only a food truck? Sweet Magnolias?
No, they have two bakeries. Sweet Magnolias they have two bakeries.
They have by St. Cecilia's Cathedral and Millward Commons.
And then the final one was we did popcorn from Jock and Jill's. You can get crazy cheap popcorn, and they pre-bag it for you. So like the small bags of popcorn are literally 50 cents.
Everyone wants to get an invite to the Winters house.
I did have a lot of people going. We did not eat at the other grad parties because we knew the food here was going to be so good. So I did hear that from a few people. Yeah,
people are like, don't even know your son, but they're crashing.
They're showing up.
Yeah,
like I don't even know you, but enjoy.
Hey neighbor.
Hey neighbor, depending on how you define neighbor. Well, with that, we're going to take our middle of the show break for the news. But when we come back, we're going to talk to Stacy Winters of Omaha Food Lovers about places he's been lately and new places. We always like to know where Stacy has visited lately because it'll give you some ideas about where to go in the next couple of weeks. So you're listening to Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Giving you a no-cost risk assessment of your.
My wife and I went to Pop and Doc's. Have you ever been up there?
I didn't even know what it is.
Decatur. It's kind of like Surfside a bit, but it was fun.
Outside?
Yeah, it was fun. I made a post in the group on that one, and it was just a picture of where are we, and everybody knew where Pop and Doc's was. I'd never been there before.
Isn't that crazy?
And it was, some of you could tell as an admin kind of how far the post reach is, and it was like 55,000. I was like, wow, like people.
What does that mean?
Patios. That means how many people saw that post. Yeah, but patio stuff. That people love patios, and I'm one of them. I went to Canara last night, and I wanted to check out their new patio in Regency because I've never been with the patio now, and it was beautiful. And I was like, I was talking to one of the Kimberly, one of the owners, and we were talking about how most people still prefer to sit inside at a table, and I'm like, if I get the choice of a patio or sitting at the bar, I'm always taking one of those. I would always do.
It's interesting. Canaro's is very family oriented. Like is that her daughter that goes and You playing with Play-Doh at one of the tables.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and
They have a 3-month-old now, too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's such a great little place.
But the thing about food trucks is if you live on a hill, you almost can't do a food truck.
They can. They do.
No, like Stacy and Jason, they wanted a food truck.
They're trying to cook and the burgers are sliding off the griddle.
Yeah, if your driveway's like this and your hill's like, so you gotta go down the hill.
That I never thought of that.
Golf carts.
Or you could get the jack it up on one side.
Yeah.
So the food, the hill's like this, the food truck's like this.
My wife is like, mention the cake from Dave's Cakes. People loved that. That's the.
Did?
No, I know, but there was a cookies and the sheet cake.
Oh, details.
The cookies and cream cake.
I had a sheep cake for my birthday one time.
A what?
A sheep cake.
A sheet cake.
Don't show this on the camera.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All the Omaha Uncut people are like, well, we want to see it. We want to see it. No, you
It was
don't.
my friend Jay Gordon we have to thank for this.
No, you
and
don't.
This was a long time ago.
You don't want to see it.
My 29th birthday, I think it was.
We're good.
You need to see it.
Considering that he's now 54, it is a while ago.
Just for the record, your phone didn't work back in 26 years ago. So
Well, he sent it to me.
he's taking photos of photos.
Because I was Henry VIII. We had a Mardi Gras party. And he didn't realize that, like, the cake, it wasn't the cake rave, it was the cake. What was it back then? The cake?
Cake gallery?
I think not cake gallery. I think it's like
All
cake
you
rave.
I've seen
Uncut
it. I'm
people are
good.
like,
Okay.
I want to see it. It's killing me.
We're just gonna like
You have to
You
schedule
can
a,
actually see a little
that's
bit
when
of
you
the
first came to the
reflection, but
United
not.
States.
you'll have to
nice.
schedule a meeting with
What is that? You were showing my picture. I saw it in the reflection. The reflection of
It was
the
the Sports
window. I
Illustrated.
was like, that's me.
Oh, so now Amy thinks she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
She just wants to be on the radio. Come on over, Amy.
Noting nobody got everything they wanted.
The American people got what they needed.
Still, the president says he'll continue pushing for deficit reduction, not just with spending cuts, but tax increases on wealthy.
I would say the Reese's Bakery. It's pronounced Reese's. Reese's, like the Reese's peanut
Yeah,
butter
it's
cup.
R-E-I-S apostrophe.
Yeah, it's Reese's.
Where should our friends John and Helke go for brunch today?
I mean,
Stacy.
Are they bringing the baby?
Yeah, they got a.
I always like.
Toddler?
I'm always a
Toddler?
Saddle Creek Breakfast Club, but there's
I
probably
knew
a
you
way.
were saying. He lives by there.
Lolas. Lolas has good brunch.
Yeah, they do. Good look.
Lola's.
Good look.
Lolas?
Good look.
Lola's, yeah, I like Lola's a lot.
Or
Good
Like
looking.
all of they here.
Do they want cocktails?
he does. Good looking has cocktails.
They do.
Where's that?
Oh, do you like, what about Good Evans? Do you like Good Evans?
So.
I've only been to the Kearney location. I've never been to the Omaha location, but they're opening a second.
Yeah.
Omaha spot.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, when I went there in Kearney, it was last summer in the
Saddle
baseball
Creek
tournament.
Breakfast
I
Club.
liked
You can
it.
get in, period.
It's like there was something you were saying in the last.
Why is Saddle Creek
episode,
taking
and I
so
was
long to go to
You didn't know
Countryside?
something. What was? I was trying to remember something you mentioned.
Was it about restaurants in the last week?
No, just on your first part of the episode today. I'm like, I was gonna I totally like spaced.
David
it.
Oh,
David
something
Nancy
you
want
said
to
about-
go out tonight.
It was.
And I knew the answer or something or somewhere.
We talked about in the first part of the show. We talked about the former car dealership on 144th Street, the Nebraska legislative bills, Genesis Health Clubs, the former pet spa, Miracle Hills renovations, the St. Patrick's and the Greek Orthodox Church. That's what we talked about.
Yeah, must be something I missed. I knew there's something I was going to bring up to you.
Do you know anything about the Saddle Creek Breakfast Club opening at Countryside?
Yeah, why is that not open? Have they?
I don't know what the deal is there.
Have they even started?
I think they started.
Renovations?
Yeah.
Okay. Last time I looked, it's been a while, but it didn't look like they had really done much anything.
Oh, it almost was like you said something.
Something I said on air.
Yes.
Today?
Yes. I was like. No, I'm like.
We were saying things that we didn't know.
I'll have to go back and listen to
I know
it.
I was saying things like I know we were talking about sometimes we don't know about some of the policy details in certain legislative
No.
bills.
It wasn't about that. It was. Oh man, I hate when I do that.
Fred Baggett's legendary.
The people who Uncut who are paying attention, like, geez, it's
Yeah.
neither of you guys paying attention to what you say.
No, I'll have to go back and listen to it because there was something you said that I was like, I knew what it was.
Huh.
Sorry.
Damn,
Oh,
I'm
what? Restaurant? A restaurant.
curious now.
What does it rhyme with?
I don't know that it was a restaurant now. I'm like, anyways, but I was curious about the 168th and Wanda because that's where I live, that area. So I wasn't sure what they were doing in that building. Yeah.
Oh, you know the pet spa, D.R. Horton?
Yeah, I was curious about that one because I drive by.
They have a little sign up there now. It sat there forever.
And now I'm like, it's going to drive me nuts until I go back and listen to it to tell you what I forgot.
You'll be laying awake at night.
Yeah.
And then you're listening to the
Oh! We're on air, though. I don't want to say it. No,
you're going to forget again.
Can you give us...
Write it down.
Give us a keyword.
I don't want to. I'm one of those, like, it's something you said when I was talking, actually. That's what it was.
All these people are like...
About something that's needed in West Coast.
Uncut sucks.
Travis and Buck Sexton are right here. Days from 11 to 2
I got you.
on News Radio 1110 KM.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Speaking of which, they are the company you want to call anytime you have any questions at all about your roof. And it doesn't matter whether it's your roof at home or if it's the roof on your office building, your warehouse, your retail building, your real estate investment, if you will. They help you with all that stuff. Doesn't matter whether you need to have some mitigation and repair from storm damage, if the roof is just old, or for all of you commercial building owners, D&M Roofing and Siding has an amazing preventative maintenance program.
There's a guy over there named Michael Hansen. He's awesome. They're all awesome, but like I call Michael, and if there was a wind, something, bam, he's on it.
They're all awesome at D&M Roofing, but Michael Hansen is awesome plus. Yeah. And with that, it's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies would be the premier real estate developer in town. Big projects. Exarban Village, Builders District, Village Point Medical Campus, Steel Ridge, River's Edge along the Missouri River, and many others, and a lot of projects out of state too. And it's only fitting, since Stacy Winters from Omaha Food Lovers is with us today, that we're going to talk about a restaurant in the Inner Rail Food Hall. Stacy, we actually broke this news, so I'm going to break it, but more like reported this news last week, but Soulful, which opened up in the Inner Rail Food Hall, is now open.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to try it yet?
I have not. There has been already a review done in the group on it. So it's the gentleman who had panchitos, like empanadas. Mm-hmm. So he was... they kind of did that for a bit, and now they opened up a full-service restaurant. So
yeah,
we've had more Mexican restaurants open up in the last year or two.
And this really isn't Mexican. This would be more, I believe,
Peruvian?
Venezuelan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of based upon the first review I saw, he's
Argentinian.
That's it. Yes.
Empanadas.
Right. Sorry. Yes.
So it says on the Inner Rail Food Hall Facebook page, Soulful is a brand new concept rooted in health, wellness, and sustainability. You can find a variety of options on their menu, such as toasts, salads, and Argentinian empanadas. Something that makes Soulful extra special is that they support local farms and mindfully source all of their ingredients. And it says, while they're not a full plant-based kitchen, they do have many vegetarian and vegan options to choose from.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it looks like it's a nice addition to the Inner Rail.
Yeah, I love that spot. It's great.
Yeah.
It's such
I like those lobster rolls, too.
Family-friendly place. It's great. Yeah.
All right, so that's your Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. You can learn more about Noddle Companies at noddlecompanies.com or check their Facebook page. So, Stacy, we like to get an update. Where does the resident food expert go? Where have you been lately?
All right, so some places lately. Reese's Bakery is a brand new bakery that just opened up on the
Cupcake Island was?
Yeah, 119th Pacific. Just opened up this week. I will say, if you've never had what's called a Queen Amman, it's a pastry. If it's not in your top 5 Omaha pastries, it will be. Like, if you've never had one, I guarantee this is going to make your list. It's that good. I had them in San Francisco, and I've been waiting to have a really good one here in Omaha for quite some time. And Itis is the owner. He was doing the baking out of his house. He moved here from Brooklyn to be closer to his family. So he had a bakery in Brooklyn before he opened here. And he was, I asked him when he was doing at-home stuff if he was going to do a Queen Amman. And he said, that's my plan. He goes, I just didn't know if Omaha was, kind of ready for something like that. And he's like, well, I'm glad to hear, that's something you're aware of. And so he had me like test a couple of them late last year and give him feedback. And he took the feedback and he perfected them. I mean, they're crispy, flaky, got the caramelized sugar on them. It's so good. So that's one.
You've got serious street credit when food is around in Omaha.
It's good to be him, Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one that just opened this week. Another one which I thought was really cool because Reese's Bakery and Williamsburg Pizza, both based out of Brooklyn, opened on the same day, opened on the 30th. So Williamsburg Pizza just opened this week, and they're obviously, if you're in the group, you've seen it. I mean, it's
a franchise.
It's very, very, very popular right now. Yeah, that is true. That was a misconception because one of the owners, Aaron McCann, is from Omaha, and so he came back and has worked with the local Jimmy John's franchisee.
One of the two.
Yeah, and so they, Aaron's still one of the owners of this location, this location here in Omaha. So it's still based on the same group out of Brooklyn that's operating this. So it's really, really good. I think they're obviously going through, like I've seen waits have been like 3 hours. So if you call in for a pizza at like 4 o'clock, you're not going to get it till like 7:30 or whatever. So plan accordingly. And I think they'll work out some of their kinks. But it's a really good pizza. Lyle's Pizzeria is another one, a sourdough crust. It's, I think somebody said we're going through the golden age of pizza, and it's been pretty cool to see. We have like the Lyle's Pizzeria with the sourdough crust. It's really, really good crust. It's located at 52nd and Leavenworth. And then we're going to soon have Moots Pizza. They've had a pizza truck, but they're going to open it up in Countryside Village. And Dolomiti, I think is how you pronounce it, pizzeria, is opening up in Millward Commons. And
that's a lot
I wasn't familiar with that one.
Dolomiti, it's Tim Mades and Carlos Mendez. So kind of the Au Courant, Hunger Block, if you remember España, same some of the folks that were involved with that. So
they have a good track record.
Yeah. Heavy Brewing, they're doing pizza too. That's kind of their, but it's a big place out in Gretna, which hugely popular out there. I've been out there a couple of times now for a birthday party, have a great party room. But if you're looking for a family-friendly brewery to go to, it's perfect. I mean, they have games, they have, everything out there, and it's just very open area. It's like a big industrial building, and they're brewing beer. They have cocktails on tap. So a really cool little place out there. One place I'm going to highlight, which I normally wouldn't, but it's been around Omaha forever, but is Biaggi's. And I know it sounds crazy, but the reason I'm highlighting it is we had friends that, their daughter has celiac, and so they wanted a place to come when they visited Omaha to go to. And I will say their menu for if you have celiac or gluten intolerance, it's perfect for you because they have an entire gluten-free menu. They take the best precautions. So I just thought it was worth highlighting because they were stunned at how great it was for them.
Well, and that's interesting that a pasta place would have that.
They have gluten-free pasta, gluten-free bread. I mean, everything, the way they handle it is very meticulous.
It's amazing what cauliflower can do thing,
another one, Tix Teco. I think I think I've talked about this one before, but they didn't have alcohol the last time I talked about it. And now they do serve alcohol. You don't need alcohol.
Tastes even better.
Yeah. The mango margarita though. If you go for one thing, go there, try the mango margarita. It was like National Margarita Day, and several people went after I recommended it, and they were like, it was the best margarita they'd had. So I'm not saying it's the best, but it's incredible. Poppin' Docks. So I know it's not Omaha, but if you want to like a little fun weekend road trip, go to Poppin' Docks up in Decatur, so just north of Tacoma, so about an hour north of here. It was super fun. My wife and I went there Monday, Memorial Day, we went up there and had a great afternoon, listened to live music, just a ton of fun. So it's, they serve the painkillers, their signature cocktail. So if you just want to have a good time with friends, I recommend it.
Where'd you go for National Donut Day yesterday?
I did not go anywhere for National Donut Day. I'm sorry. I probably would have gone to Square Donut if you give me the choice.
I do like Square Donut. I like Lamar's. I like Winchell's. Hey, I like donuts. Yeah, I don't discriminate with donuts. All right, we're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, we'll have our Turner Construction lightning round, and we may have Stacy chime in on a couple of those. You're listening to Grow Omaha News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Probably.
I got speaking of Lamar's Donuts, I opened up the mailbox like 2 days ago, and there was like this thing for a free donut on National Donut Day yesterday, and I forgot to use my free donut coupon.
For whatever reason, donuts are like one of those things. Like they don't agree with me. Like
Yeah.
I donuts.
They don't agree with me either.
Vegan pizza.
Yeah, it's the fried dough thing. I don't know like what it is, and it's been that way for a long time. But
If I'm in the mood for a donut, though, nothing will stop me. And yes, by lunchtime, and it doesn't matter where you get them. You know, it's just like,
What about bagels?
Oh, I love Bagel Bin. I mean, Bagel Bin's always the top place.
Yeah.
Although Omaha Bagel Company, which is kind of a home delivery place.
But I say, it's kind of, Sarah reviewed them.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's kind of a bitch to get them. Like, you have to go through hoops to get one.
Obviously you can message them on Facebook and order them.
Fill out an application.
Or you can
I just
go
want
to the farmer's market on Sunday, but you have to be there early because they sell out.
I mean, I just want to like drive on my way to work and pick something up.
Yeah, Bagel Bins. I mean, if you ask the group best bagel, you will get 99 out of 100 will say Bagel Bin.
I love Bagel Bin. The only problem I have with Bagel Bin, I'm an iced tea drinker, not a coffee drinker, and I love iced tea. And you go to Bagel Bin, all they have is that pre-mixed crap, bottle stuff. I cannot drink that. It's got to be fresh brewed. If Bagel Bin would come up with a good fresh brewed iced tea, I might be there like at least once a week every week of the year. Love the bagels.
Kind of like when
hate the tea.
When Howard Buffett went to what was the place that closed in Dundee upstairs?
Mark's.
Yeah, Mark's.
Yeah.
And
I miss that place.
That was good.
And they didn't.
I love Mark's.
They didn't serve Coke products, and so he like gave him an incredible deal because he was like on the board of Coca-Cola or something. And so they came in and took out all the other stuff, and like he basically paid for it for a year or something like that.
Because it was his favorite restaurant or something.
Yeah, he did a restaurant.
Are we going to talk about events? Is that part of this? Or not really?
If we can, how much time will we have?
You're going to have about 5 minutes. Here we come. We're
Let's
back.
just talk fast and we'll try and get as much in as we can. We'll talk real fast, guys.
Radio 1110 KFA. On your free iHeartRadio app. All your music, radio, and podcasts.
And we're back. It's the Turner Construction Lightning Round, appropriately brought to you by Turner Construction. By the way, Turner Construction does this amazing market report that they put out. Gives you an overview of construction in Omaha. And we quoted it in this week's newsletter from the fourth quarter of last year to the first quarter of this year. According to Turner Construction, the Omaha area had a 2.9% growth rate in construction employment. And we hope that a good percentage of those people work for Turner Construction because they treat their people so well. Everyone you ever talk to at Turner loves working there. And what's relevant about that is that if you have an empowered workforce that is very happy, it translates into better projects and projects that come in meeting budget and the right specifications. Turner clients are happy clients. And so if you're looking for a contractor, just give Turner Construction a call. They're really making a huge difference here in Nebraska. And we thank Turner for making this possible. So we got Stacy Winters with us from Omaha Food Lovers. A couple of quick updates on some restaurants, fellas. We have a Runza under construction southwest of 204th and Q between Starbucks and Rusty Taco in Coventry. Stokes Grill and Bar, the southwestern staple in West Omaha, is reopening tomorrow, June 4th. They are still finishing the last bits and pieces of their renovation, but the restaurant will be back open.
That's fast.
As they finish that up, 136th and Dodge. Ancho and Agave, Stacy, is this massive Mexican
big
restaurant.
Yeah, it is.
Almost
The old Pier
11.
One.
Yeah, almost 11,000 feet. They have location in Wisconsin and Illinois. Everyone's excited to try it.
Probably not as big as Isla Del Mar though. That place is massive.
That is huge.
That's
out of control.
That's big.
That's like the size of a small grocery store at Isla Del Mar. Ancho and Agave is from the same guy that owns the Biaggi's.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because you were talking about Biaggi's
That was my
earlier.
planned segue.
Yeah, that was really well structured for you. La Quartier Bakery is moving from Countryside Village to Loveland Shopping Center, 90th
Following
and Center.
the Market Basket.
Yeah, but I don't think that is a negative testament to Countryside at all. Countryside
No,
is
they got plenty.
knocking it out of the park
They are.
with restaurants. And like you said earlier, Moot's Pizza is coming there. Saddle Creek Breakfast Club is coming. Whole Foods Market has got this new thing where they call it Dash Cart, and they can just like scan what's in your cart without taking it out. And they've started it in 5 cities, including the Whole Foods here in Omaha. And then Trenton Wine, Beer, and Spirits has teamed up with a premium purveyor of meat called the Wahoo Locker, and they're going to provide their products at all of the wine, beer, and spirits.
The Wahoo wieners are actually really good.
Yeah,
they're really good. Yeah,
If you like getting the
that's
meat
on their
sweats,
sign.
yeah.
Yeah, if you go, there's this home of the Wahoo Wiener.
Yep.
But, a lot of people don't realize Wine, Beer, and Spirits, not only do they have the 2 locations in town, they also have one in Lincoln, and they've expanded to Grand Island as well.
They just bought a building in Fremont.
Stacy, we've got some food-related events coming up.
Yeah, you have no excuse not to get out and do something this weekend. There's tons of them. So just a quick highlight for people is Taste of Omaha is happening. You could call it Taste of Ralston if that's what you want to do because they moved it to Ralston this year.
Taste of Omaha Metro.
Yeah. Bloody Mary Fest is happening at Warner Park tomorrow. So I think you get about 14 different vendors. There is the Benson Beer Fest is happening today in Benson. And then there's farmers markets galore now. Like I think this weekend, Gretna's having their farmers market, Bellevue's having theirs, Bennington's opening up, and then obviously your Old Market Exarban ones. And then there's a couple. I'm really excited because there's a few mocktail things that are happening. So there's one happening at Dry Spokes for National Cheese Day. There's a cheese pairing and mocktail pairing tomorrow at Dry Spokes, which is a mocktail bar.
It's National Cheese Day tomorrow?
Tomorrow is National Cheese Day. Yep. And then there's a mocktail dinner happening tomorrow night at Herb Saint. It's a fundraiser. I can't remember who it's a fundraiser for, but it's a mocktail dinner at Herb Saint tomorrow night.
And Exarban Village.
Yes.
And new places you want to try real fast in 15 seconds.
I had SEMO on my list, the place in Fremont from Drew Stats, Mission Avenue Barbecue, Texas Barbecue in Bellevue, and Fig, which is the new place at the Kiwa Illuminarium that's by the folks at
We went there. It's good.
And you guys just said that last word right as the music started playing, so it's perfect timing. Stacy Winters, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Stacy Winters, Omaha Food Lovers. That's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing and Siding, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.